These things are smoking hot.
Re-up your what's in the bag. Woods have changed, now the irons.
That's some
serious ball speed and
some jump, isn't it? All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to take a really deep dive.
Big one.
Into the world of Mizuno irons. We know Mizuno have this following, this sort of appreciation for the craftsmanship, the performance that comes from the irons. And every other year when they release a Mizuno Pro line, it is one of the most eagerly anticipated releases of the iron calendar. This year we saw the new 2.4 series replace the 2.2 series, Mikey. 3 new irons. Cosmetically, to a lot of people's eye, quite similar. Some badging changes, some kind of progression in where the muscle sits on the back. But, you know, it looked quite similar, but there were some changes under the hood.
Yeah, I think when you have something like the 2.4 series, you have a 2.2 series that was successful, especially for us. You don't really want to mess around too much with, what they have. I think they've got a really great product, but the 2.4 is definitely, in my opinion, we're seeing a lot more customers, especially in that 2.4.5. Yeah. I think they've done a really nice job with that one.
That's the bread and butter one for us, isn't it? I mean, I think the 223 was great. I had a set in the bag for a little while. And I think part of this video we're going to touch upon, because at the time, I remember having some experiences on the course with 223 that I remember kind of scratching my head and going, this doesn't kind of almost make sense, or there's something I'm not seeing as the progression of the performance. I'm loving what I'm seeing in these parts of this part of the set, but I'm also not seeing it at this other part. So that is going to be part of our video, I think, today. And like you said, the 2.4.5 continues to evolve into being genuinely one of the most unique irons in the space.
Totally.
For how it looks to how it performs is something that I think a lot of people should pay closer attention to.
Yeah, and I think for some of these hollow body irons, sound's a big thing. I know when we test in here, there's some that sound like, big old open can and nothing, and then there's some that sound great, and 2.4.5 I think is one of the best sounding irons out there right now in the hollow body world. Yep,
it absolutely is. All right, let's not dive all into the tech right now. Let's get hitting, and we can sort of uncover the changes as we go here.
Cool. Okay, Fraz, we're gonna start with the blades, move to hollow body, and we're gonna start with 221s, pitching wedge, 130 yards. Let's see what you got. Lovely.
Bad little heely maybe, Michael?
Yeah, a little heel. Take it.
We got a toy for you. Test out the forgiveness of the blade.
Really in depth. It's good. Need some bulge and roll.
Yeah, that's what we need. Offset those mishits.
Feels like a Mizuno right out of the center. Nice, easy blade to hit.
I can't tell you how much more comfortable I am with this 7 than I was with that first wedge.
Interesting. Okay.
A bit of shaping for me. A little, I love when a Mizuno gets into mid iron.
Yeah.
Always loved the Mizuno mid iron. So it just feels. I just feel like I'm hitting it way more solid.
Yeah.
It's just everything's better.
Okay. Good strike. Good swing.
Shots like that give you the false hope, Michael, that one day you might actually use a blade in your life.
Telling yourself, I don't need a blade. I don't need a blade. Top line on that.
Yeah, starting to get a little bit tasty.
Good strike.
Yeah, pretty good.
And when you flush a bladed 5 iron, your mind's screaming, do not go to a set of blades. You don't need blades.
You can't do this.
That sounded so good.
You can't do this. Shut up.
Bye me.
You're good. No.
All right, Fries, into the 241. Little subtle changes. I think when it comes, blade to a blade, there's not a ton of canvas to work with when you're trying to change something up, but a little bit more, tour preferred top line. There's still a few guys on tour that use, Mizuno blades, and they're cleaning up the look of that, but, let's see how they perform.
This one looks nicer.
Okay.
This one definitely looks nicer to me. That does sound very different.
Yeah.
It just sounds softer, more muted.
Strikes in a better place.
Yeah. Something about that first one, it didn't look, I wasn't comfortable with it
Yeah.
for sure, how it looked. Wasn't that comfortable with how it felt.
In the 241, blade length got a little shorter in the scoring irons, and they've increased the bounce a couple degrees as well for some better turf interaction. So
I think that's a big part of what I'm feeling through the strike. It feels way better.
right, okay, good. All right, Fries, into the 7-iron.
Gorgeous.
Again, scoring iron, I think 7-iron starts to, that obviously splits the set. But what's the top line and kind of address position look like?
Yeah, nice. I like it's not really a performance thing, but I do like the satin brush over the
Shiny.
high polished chrome.
Yeah.
I think I really like that. But I really like the 221 7-iron, and this is
Okay, good.
really good too.
That was nice. Nice swing. All right, Fries, into the 5-iron.
Yeah.
The new 241s have kind of more of that tapered, sleek look to them, where, short irons are looking for a little bit more flight, and then obviously more penetrating flight with the long irons. You see that kind of tapering throughout the set starting to happen?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. So the look of the hosel to leading edge kind of like ratio or sort of that relationship, what I'm seeing, a bit more offset almost on this 5, was what I saw in that 221 wedge.
Right, okay, interesting.
And that totally was away in the 241 wedge. And but this is where you want offset,
definitely.
right? Literally this, a little bit higher, a little bit more rotation. But let's see what it does.
Funny, from 241 to 245, the sound in 245 sound more, I don't know, solid. And maybe they've moved around the muscle a little bit in the in the 4s, where it's exactly where you want it behind the ball, but it sounds so much better.
It feels it. A little spin in those blades. Nice.
Okay, Fries, into 223. Again, a popular one for both of us in the fitting bay last season. A little bit of help, nice, some tungsten in the back, but super, super clean profile.
Yeah, and as I alluded to earlier, when I played these clubs, this was where I was having a really hard time. Really kind of liked the mid irons and the long irons, the long irons especially. But I found like once I hit 8-9 wedge, it just, the distance dropped off. Yeah, it just used to frustrate me coming up short all the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I definitely noticed that with this.
Pretty ho-hum, easy striking. That was easy. Okay, so 223, you were talking about the longer irons you had, you kept up the distance where you would want it to see kind of like flight and whatnot. Obviously didn't blend well with 8-9 in wedge. When you look down at this guy, pretty confident boosting.
Yeah, it's nice. The shape is getting a little bit larger, which is good. Yeah, no, this is always an iron I was super impressed with.
Okay, cool.
Again, yeah, technology-wise, going to the forged chromoly, I think that was starting to take a bit of what the design of the JPX was sort of getting and put it into Mizuno Pro. And this is where these became quite lively, and I think really 243 is taking that to another level.
Definitely. Great swing. You can start to see that even in the 223s, as the clubs get longer with a little bit more help behind them, the sound is a million times better, but you definitely got a bunch of ball speed out of it.
Definitely. It's a good iron, Mikey. You know, we really liked 223 last year.
Yeah.
As I say, I just think the biggest change is, and we'll see it in a second, but I just think there was an improvement to those short irons that made it a more complete set. I wasn't expecting to see something missing from the 7 and the 5, but I know there was in the 4.
Right, okay.
So the wedge, sorry.
And as that perimeter weighting starts to, maybe that back cavity gets a little bit larger in the long irons, you can hear it. It almost sounds like a hollow construction iron.
It feels it. It really does.
Which is nice, especially in like a player's iron like this, a little bit of help in the long irons. It was roasted.
It's just, I always found it was like easy speed used to come out 223.
Yeah. All right, into the 243. You played 223s in the past, so talk to me about the wedge. I know you're picky with the pitch and wedge.
No, definitely picky on the shaping. This shape's nice. Obviously, the back, the muscle moves higher, bringing that center of gravity up, bringing the flight out a little bit flatter. I think that's something we should see, a little bit more ball speed retention when in the middle of the club. With the old one, just felt like that cavity or that muscle was too shallow.
Yeah.
It's in a nice spot now. So I think we should see these have a little bit more on them.
Right. I mean, definitely a little more horsepower in this shorter iron. I mean,
see it, can't you?
Like the 241s, they've shrunk the kind of scoring irons down a little bit.
Yeah.
And they give you kind of a little bit, that 2 degrees more bounce as well for better turf interaction. But like you said, that where that muscle is now, the speed doesn't drop.
Look at that.
So good.
What's that coming out of that?
That's a long pitching wedge. Into the 7 iron. This is where you get that micro slot in the back of the club or the bottom of the club, just to help with probably pick up a little bit more speed out of it. But I mean, from what they've done from 223 to 243, I can't get those numbers straight.
You're not great with numbers.
I know. I'm pretty bad with the numbers, but definitely a speed increase for sure.
Definitely. No, this is nice. This is 7. Honestly, 7 looks identical. Actually, maybe, I don't know if there is. It looks like there's a fraction more offset.
Okay.
Better that
So
one.
good.
I mean, these things are smoking hot.
Re-up here, what's in the bag? Woods have changed, now the irons.
That's some
serious ball speed and
some jump, isn't it?
Yeah. Peak height and almost 50 descent angle 7 iron. I'd actually want a caddy for someone who strikes like that.
Under pressure there after you said that. Didn't want to let myself down.
So good. Set of Mizuno irons in the bag. Pretty forgiving, pretty easy.
I think so.
All right, Fries, last but definitely not least, these are the 225s. Again, popular iron for us, very similar kind of fly high technology like iron, hollow body, meant for that player looking for more speed, a little bit more distance, but they've done it in a clean kind of classic shape.
Yep, that's an iron that lots of people confuse for a blade.
Totally.
The shelf appeal in the bag, it really does pass for the blade, which people do like that.
Simple. I like the thing I like about 225 was you could kind of strike it all over. I know those 2 strikes are exact same, but you don't sacrifice a bunch of launch or spin or speed when you can kind of spray it all over the face and get away with it.
Yeah, definitely gives you, and with the new one, which we'll get into in a minute, with the the new sort of package with the amount of tungsten that's in there, 43 grams. I mean, that's a lot.
It's a lot. Do it. Okay, Fries, into the 7-iron in the 225. Again, top line starts to get a fraction thicker here.
It does, but yeah, it beefs up on the back of the club, but the leading edge, no more offset or visually anyway.
Yeah.
It still looks really clean.
Great swing. Great strike. Right out of the center.
Good sound to the 225, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, Fries, 225. This is where we start to see it similar to like driving iron territory. These irons, I know the 5-iron in 225 has been popular for combo sets, so excited to see what this 5-iron does for you.
Me too.
Easy peasy. Could be the tuxedo shoes, but pretty good.
Think so?
Confidence really has grown. Looks so easy.
They're really nice irons to hit. They are, especially when you get a chance to sample them all.
Yeah.
I'll say there is a huge difference between 221 or the blade into the 3 series.
Right.
The ones to the 3s to the 5s. Like I felt like the 3s and 5s both felt they were giving me loads of explosive kind of speed off the face. This is just really hot, isn't it?
Very, very easy. Yeah, and it comes out quick, but you still get a bunch of height and spin off it, which is great. Roasted.
I mean, the wedge is now lively in a good way. That it's now in keeping with the rest of the set. And the challenge for designers is once you get beyond a certain amount of loft, it's hard for the face design to impact the ball.
Yeah.
Because you're getting such a deflected blow. More loft we add, we're not getting that kind of nice solid square strike. So it is very, very difficult.
I mean, it's hollow behind where that badging is basically on the wedge to, I think, 9-iron it is. So definitely gives you that, a little bit more help, I guess, what you want. But I think shape-wise, they've done a really nice cleanup with this. So good. Very easy. And sounds great. Like the sound from all the irons has improved.
Definitely.
Okay, 2, 4, 5, 7-iron. This is where all that tungsten starts to help us. So if we're gonna miss it in the moving into the longer irons, all that tungsten is there to save you. Yeah,
and important, I think, to mention why we keep talking about tungsten. When we are able to sort of move the mass towards the toe, it creates a more forgiving club head. It's a higher moment of inertia. Any deflected strike has more behind it, especially in the toe side.
Yeah.
When you start moving away from all this mass in the hosel and stuff and you hit it in the heel, it can lack a little bit of pop sometimes.
Sure. Yep.
Sort of out in the toe, but once it's got this out there now, it's way more solid.
So that's 7-iron, the back of 185. 195 carry on that 130 ball.
Very quick. And that's where I think trying to get somebody into an iron that has the pop of one of these stronger lofted distance irons, but they really want the looks.
Yeah.
I think that's where you end up in something like this.
How'd that feel?
I mean, like you'll have caught the sound. It was a little higher in the blade than the other ones.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 0-0 on the strike. It was right in the middle, but in actual fact, like up there, you don't get quite as much as you do a hair lower. I think micro slot and the tungsten and all these things actually lend themselves to getting more out of slightly lower in the head.
It's good.
So that's good.
Okay, Fries. Again, mini driving iron is what I'm going to call this thing.
Kind of looks a bit like that, to be honest.
Clean looks, but we know there's going to be a ton of speed and a ton of distance packed in this guy.
Pretty good strike, that one.
Yeah. Yeah, right out of call it right out of the middle, fraction
Healy.
Healy.
This shows you, I wouldn't be able to tell you I didn't hit that one in the middle.
Yeah.
Felt like it. If I was on the golf course and I didn't have a launch motor to tell me that, my confidence would be saying, yeah, really good strike.
Yeah. 140 ball speed, 220 carry.
Yeah.
100 feet in the air. It's not like these are coming in at, 80 feet and you can't stop a ball whatsoever.
Not at all.
And 24 degrees is their stock loft on this, so plenty of loft.
Yep. All right, young Michael. Sorry to put you through that.
That's right. How you feeling? Tired?
Glazed.
Glazed.
Like a donut. Yeah. Between the blades, we're not expecting to see that much here.
Yeah.
I would say I felt like I was striking the 241s, maybe placebo, because the numbers will tell you.
Maybe a fraction steeper, but maybe due to that kind of sole design getting through the turf, that 2 degrees extra bounce on the pitching wedge.
Yeah, certainly felt a little bit more comfortable. As we move into the 7s, spin.
Yeah.
And that's interesting because that was the same thing with the wedge.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that. 800 RPM difference in spin. Little pickup of ball speed, half a club. Definitely felt more solid, as I said. Get into the 5.
Fraction more speed?
Yeah, a little more speed, a little bit more centered though, so probably that's the reason. Not that much of a difference there, but on the blades, it seems like maybe a CG alteration on the blades. But as we said, I mean, small refinements across the board in the 1, 3, and 5 series, but less so, and even less in the blades. All right, I think this is where, people kind of probably will start to see some differences. This one kind of shook us a little bit.
Yeah. It could get a little, I don't want to say jumpy, it's just that there was a pickup in speed, which is nice.
Yeah, well, I don't know why there was there was certainly no more effort going in, pick up in speed and less dynamic loft.
But from when you played 223s, you noticed there was a significant drop off in 9/8 and wedge, and they've clearly cleaned that up. So
that was it right there. 132. That's why I used to hit it 130, and then all of I'd hit 7 180, and it just I couldn't gap them.
Yeah.
So this is clearly better because we're using the same ball, the same really everything. It's just a little bit different in the delivery. When it comes to this is a little bit more, a little bit different here. Again, speed. 94 versus 24.5, same thing.
Yeah, that's where the slot in the iron, comes into play as well. All that tungsten down below in the 7-iron.
Yep.
Yeah, the 243 is definitely a quicker iron for you.
Definitely. Then last but not least, when we get into the 5s, again, really, really nice ball speed. Little reduction in spin up, maybe
strike a little lower.
Maybe. But I used to really like the 2-2-3-5 iron and the 4. I loved them. So, not a huge win, but more a little pickup in ball speed. We've known them to get a little bit quicker, and in this case, a little bit less spin. But not much of a win in the sense of the launch conditions.
Right.
More in terms of the ball speed for where it was struck. Considering I was averaging a little bit of a lower strike to get more ball speed out, pretty good. Into the
225
5s. Both quite nice.
Pitching wedge again speeds up a little bit. Spin comes down a fraction. Pick up a little bit of distance.
Yeah, I mean, just always trying to examine this page and see kind of what's moving around. Again, it's this common theme of it's a little bit quicker and it's a little bit lower dynamic.
Yeah.
That's across the board what we're seeing. I mean, that's 9-iron territory.
Yeah.
for me, which at 38, no, sorry, pitching wedge,
43.
sorry, 43.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I play my 40, I play my 9-iron right now at 40.
Right. Okay.
So it's not like it's loft jacking.
No.
That's not what that is. 7 irons, same thing.
Yep.
Common.
Big increase. The
More
nice thing
speed,
is though
less loft.
the increase isn't like they're not flyers, they're not low spinner, knuckler shots. You still have a ton of control over them.
Yeah, the flight is getting higher, pretty much across the board. I mean, nice there to see spin or speed up, launch up, spins down a little bit. I mean, that's a ball adjustment for sure. Last but not least, in the 5s, they both felt pretty good in the 5s.
Yeah. Both performed really nicely.
Across the board, almost every single one, the ball speed was up a couple of miles an hour.
Yeah.
Across the board.
Yeah. Don't copy.
Pretty good stuff, guys. There's the reason for a video like this is there's a lot going on behind the shell of these golf clubs than really the customer will ever really know.
Yeah,
that's the value of doing this again.
It's not always just cosmetics and it's a new year. Every second year they come out with something new. Like in the 4 series, there's a lot of tech added to these irons, which is nice. So,
I mean, the one that stuck out to me was the 243s. The minute I hit that wedge and that wedge went 142, 143, and it just had that kind of flight to it, I'm like, this is different.
Yeah.
This is kind of what I really enjoyed playing. So anyone who experienced that same thing, and I know there were some people out there who experienced that same thing where the wedge maybe dropped back too much and struggled, as the kind of clubs got less lofted and the technology started to take its hold.
Yeah.
Then they were seeing much more distance. I think you'll see a much more even spread of yardage.
100%.
Guys, there's no more to say. I mean, Mizuno, we always know they make great irons. They've just engineered more out of their sort of real marquee range of clubs, the Mizuno Pro range. The blades are still the blades.
Classic.
Yeah.
Look good, feel good.
The 223s went into the auto body shop and came out with a tune-up.
Yeah.
A nice little package, get extra 150 horsepower under the hood. Nice for anyone. And 225 became a real beast in the 245. And it felt really good as well. The feel, the responsiveness off the face. I mean, some of the ones that were just, the strike just sounds so pure.
Yeah, and like you said, for someone that loves a clean-looking iron with a, bit tidier top line, but needs the help, that 245 is the one.
Without a doubt. Okay, guys, let us know what you think. Were you previously in the 2022 range and you're thinking about some of the changes or some of the kind of things that we've talked about today and maybe, that's something that you could do with, some help you could do with? I think you need to go in and really have a word with the fitter. Any of our stores that you've been fit in, go back and talk to them about it. Make some adjustments, maybe test it against it, and maybe there's an upgrade that could get you a little bit more of a progression in terms of the performance. So, and if you haven't tried Mizuno, it's as good a time as any.
100%.
All right, guys. Good stuff. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you again soon.